Okay, thank you so much. Your cooperation to come back on time. It was great. And did you enjoy building up your plan? Did you enjoy building up your plan? Good. So I think some of you are still halfway, and you can use your coffee break or lunchtime or whenever today to finish up your decoration of your plan. Okay? And the weather forecast said it's going to rain sometime today. So we might not be able to keep the pillar outside, but we will keep it somewhere. So please, continue your work. And so I would like to invite Jonathan. Jonathan, Hanny, Jonathan, Hanny.
Yeah. Hello. Are we ready? When I say bra, you say vo. Bra. Bra. When I say jambo, you say ri. Jambo. Jambo. Okay, we want to see if we can do if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands in the different languages. So there'll be a moving mic. So I'll start in English. If you are ready to sing in your language, you'll be given the mic, then we keep the rhythm. Are you okay? Okay. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you surely want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Kama umefurahi na unafurahi, piga makofi. Kama umefurahi na unafurahi, piga makofi. Kama umefurahi na unafurahi, kama umefurahi na unafurahi, kama umefurahi na unafurahi, piga makofi.
إن كنت زاهي فرحان اضحك اضحك ها ها ها إن كنت زاهي فرحان اضحك اضحك ها ها ها إن كنت زاهي فرحان إن كنت زاهي فرحان إن كنت زاهي فرحان اضحك اضحك ها ها ها
Ratuka fale nau de miteaf Ratuka fale nau de miteaf Ratuka fale nau Natuka fale nau Ratuka fale nau de miteaf
İzci olmak istiyorsan elini çırp. İzci olmak istiyorsan elini çırp. İzci olmak istiyorsan, izciliği seviyorsan, izci olmak istiyorsan elini çırp.
Si estás feliz, haz así. Si estás feliz, haz así. Si estás feliz, y se me olvidó.
Dans les petits, dans les hauts, alors papa, tape dans tes mains. Si t'es content d'être au forum, tape dans tes mains. Si t'es content d'être au forum, si t'es content d'être au forum, si t'es content d'être au forum, tape dans tes mains.
當你知道你好快樂，拍拍手。當你知道你好快樂，拍拍手。當你知道你好快樂，你個貓樣就會出咗嚟。當你知道你好快樂，拍拍手。
ደስተኛ የሆነ ያጨብጭብ ደስተኛ የሆነ ያጨብጭብ ደስተኛ የሆነ ያጨብጭብ ደስተኛ የሆነ ያጨብጭብ
Lejilejọ wa abo asikpe. Lejilejọ wa odola po asikpe. Lejilejọ wa apo asikpe.
Kalau anda rasa gembira tepuk tangan. Kalau anda rasa gembira tepuk tangan. Kalau anda rasa gembira beginilah caranya. Kalau anda rasa gembira tepuk tangan.
Kad si srećan lupi dlan od dlan. Kad si srećan ti udari dlan od dlan. Kad si srećan i kad želiš drugim sreću tu da dijeliš. Kad si srećan ti udari dlan od dlan.
Ben je gelukkig, voel je happy, klap je hand. Ben je gelukkig, voel je happy, klap je hand. Ben je gelukkig, voel je happy. Ben je gelukkig, voel je happy. Ben je gelukkig, voel je happy, klap je hand.
Dacă vesel se trăiește, fă așa. Dacă vesel se trăiește, fă așa. Dacă vesel se trăiește, unui altuia zâmbește. Dacă vesel se trăiește, fă așa.
Si vota contenti va gustele bati bomang. Si vota contenti va gustele bati bomang. Si vota contenti va gustele, si vota contenti va gustele, si vota contenti va gustele, bati bom.
Se estás contente, bate palmas. Se estás contente, bate palmas. Se estás contente, se estás contente, se estás contente, bate palmas.
Kana uchi fara omberam. Kana uchi fara omberam. Kana uchi fara uye uchi jiziva. Kana uchi fara omberam.
Sokiozane sengo beta maboko. Sokiozane sengo beta maboko. Sokiozane esengo, sokiozana esengo beta maboko.
Beresiru nemfien miaubok. Beresiru nemfien miaubok. Beresiru nemfien avoyem di wodir ke siru nemfien miaubok.
Nidu suka di ibi tegerefo. Nidu suka di ibi tegerefo. Nidu suka di ibi tegerefo.
Ngautawa kageza. Ngautawa kageza. Ngautawa endufuna sibekwazi wena ngithi kageza.
如果你很快乐，你就拍拍手。如果你很快乐，你就拍拍手。我在这里唱着歌，你在哪里唱着歌？如果你很快乐，你就拍拍手。
幸せなら手を叩こう。幸せなら手を叩こう。幸せなら態度で示そうよ。ほらみんなで手を叩こう。
اللي يحب الكشف يسقف كده اهو. اللي يحب الكشف يسقف كده اهو. اللي يحب الكشف يسقف. اللي يحب الكشف يسقف. اللي يحب الكشف يسقف كده اهو.
Mau cabulile syaitan. Mau cabulile syaitan. Mau cabulile ufunastati. Mau cabulile syaitan.
Boboli msanyu fuku ba mungalo. Boboli msanyu fuku ba mungalo. Boboli msanyu fu njagalo kubengalo, njagalo kubengalo.
Okay, I know if I know we can continue with this the whole day, but we have to stop there. So let me give us now a common version for all of us. The same tune, but we say, I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. So, I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. So if you're enthusiastic, let's stand and see if you do it. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Are we ready? Yeah. Okay, let's go. I'm alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. If you are alive, give your neighbor a high five. Thank you.
A big thank you to Jonathan for his energy that keeps us all sharp and on edge. All right, I would like to have your attention for a minute, please. Maybe two. Attention and silence, please. Thank you. So, the time has come to vote, but not vote just yet. As you saw, starting from last night, we shared the final versions of amendments that you submitted and that the drafting committee relentlessly and tirelessly spent most of the night looking through, modifying to fit spelling, grammar, and
proper and appropriate wording. I do not think they are in the room as of yet, but they have just been finalizing the work on the final declaration and the triennial plan amendments. So we'll get a chance to clap, cheer, and thank them for sacrificing their whole night for the sake of our work here. They have gone above and beyond on this, and we need to recognize that because it's taking a toll on them. 4 people are delegates, just like most of you here, which means that they sacrifice their nights and they'll have to go through the voting session today just as if nothing happened. So let's make very sure that we can support and recognize the commitment that they did to this. Now we are not going to start the voting straight away because we want to give you some time to go back quickly in your international teams and consider the possibility of making amendments to the amendments. Because this is a possibility under the guidelines and rules of procedures, and it's not possible for you while sitting in delegations at the moment to discuss any potential changes you would like to make on the final proposals. So we will start with a 30 minutes time for you to get back in your international teams, review the final versions of the amendments. They have all been uploaded on Facebook. For now, mostly focus on the Facebook versions, not the link to the digital platform. So I'm being told Facebook is not opening properly, so we need to put it on SCAD.org. I am both extremely excited that we think SCAD.org works better than Facebook, and very sorry that we have this difficulty. Is it possible to upload everything on the platform? All right. So our amazing communication people over there are going to make it happen. In 5 minutes. Give us 5 minutes to do that. We'll give you an additional 5 minutes for discussions. Yes? Thank you for your comments. The question was, when will you all have the final list of all the amendments? So as I said, the drafting committee just finished their work on the final declaration and the triennial plan amendments, which means that they are going to be uploaded probably in the next 5 to half an hour. Anyway, the voting is going to happen in a specific order. We're going to start. So there were no amendments to constitutional amendments. So we will not be discussing any of the constitutional amendment proposals. We will start by discussing draft resolution amendment proposals from NSOs in the committee. Those have been shared with you on Facebook and will very soon be on the SCAD.org platform since last night. So you already have access to them. This is why these are the only amendments we expect you to discuss in the next half an hour, and those will be the ones we start voting on. Triennial plan. The sequence is we'll discuss the triennial plan amendments last, which means that it will happen after lunch, which means that you will have time during coffee breaks and lunch to go through them, potentially discuss amendments to amendments in your international teams. So things can go smoothly. So we'll do the draft resolutions, then the final declaration, then the triennial plan amendments. If you feel that lunch and coffee breaks have not given you enough time to discuss in your international teams potential amendments to amendments, let us know before the end of lunch and we'll consider if we can afford an additional informal time for you to discuss that more in detail. Yes, Liechtenstein.
Will we be voting
you have a microphone on your right.
Sorry, will we be voting
you have a microphone on your right?
Sorry, will we be voting by hand or by computer?
We will be using the e-voting system, should it be working. But it worked for the election, so we are very optimistic that it will work for that as well. Of course, you need to have all your voting kits, and I trust that you already do. And if the system fails, we'll revert to voting by hand with the voting cards. I have a question, yes? Yes, New Zealand.
So my understanding is that we're voting as a delegation, so just questioning if it's meant, if the time we're about to have is meant to be as an international team or with our delegation.
So if you vote to approve the amendment proposals by delegation, but amendments to amendments still follow the same rules as any other amendments. They have to be submitted by international teams, presented by one, seconded by another. This is why we're giving you time. We are hopeful that this morning and last night, yes, late last night, you were given all the amendments for the draft resolutions and you had time to already review them in your national delegations. Now, again, if you feel this is not the case and you feel that you need more than half an hour to both talk in your delegation and potentially in your international teams, we can accommodate your needs. We are committed to giving you the proper time to vote on these very important amendments. So may I ask, by raising your hands, is everybody ready to vote on their national delegation, or do you need time to both review amendments in your national delegation and potentially talk to your international teams for amendments to the amendments? Is everybody confident that they don't have to review the resolutions amendment proposals in their national delegations at the moment, and we can only focus on amendments to amendments and international team discussions for the next 30 minutes? Is everybody ready? Okay. Well then, how much time do you think you need? All right, so we technically have 1 hour minus the time I'm talking until the next coffee break. Let's make this 1 hour where you can review all those amendments and look for amendments to amendments. At this point, focus only on the draft resolutions proposed by NSOs and the committee. Only review the amendments that's submitted for those documents. Please wait for lunch to focus on the next ones, because we will be voting on them after lunch. Almost certainly. If you have time, start looking at the final declaration. It should be uploaded very soon, but in the order of priority, start with the draft resolution amendments, because they're the first one we will be voting on. Is that clear? The order again will be draft resolutions, final declaration, triennial plan. So review amendments in that order, and if by the end of this hour you're not done, not done with the triennial plan amendments, not all the other ones. As a reminder, amendments to amendments, so new amendments that you would propose now on the floor during the voting as we go through the list, follow the same rule of submission as any other amendments. It needs to come from one international team, it needs to be seconded by another international team. So you have 1 hour to review the amendments in your national delegation and make any amendments to amendments happen in your international team for the draft resolutions from NSOs and the committee. Yes, Germany.
How and when is the deadline to submit these amendments to amendments?
Amendments to amendments will be proposed on the floor as we go through the resolutions and the amendment proposals. So once we are about to vote for specific amendments, if you have an amendment to these amendments, raise your cards. Please, I am pretty good at recognizing scarves nowadays, but raise your country name tag so I know who's asking for the right to speak. Then you get to propose your amendments, have the formulation ready. We will vote on the amendments to the amendments before we vote on the original amendment proposal. That way, you get to accept or reject the last-minute change. And once that's out of the way, we can either vote on the original proposal if you rejected the last-minute change, or vote on the new version of the amendments to be incorporated into the draft resolution. Is that clear? We will go through the resolutions one by one and the amendments that you submitted. Every time the amendment that you want to amend comes up, you raise your card, you propose the new version, we vote on it first, whether it gets accepted. If it gets accepted, we change the formulation of the amendments and vote on that. If it gets rejected, we stick to the original proposal and vote on that. Yes, Portugal?
So you're saying that we can do it in our national delegation. So if we're here voting for an amendment, we can amend that amendment in our national delegation?
I absolutely did not say that.
Okay, so
amendments to amendments follow the same rule of submission as anything you've submitted so far. An international team has to propose it, another international team has to second it, which means that you need to discuss that before. One of the delegations has, let's make it easy, team leaders of international teams will be the one presenting the amendment proposals from the international team. You announce who the seconder is, tell us the formulation, we look into it, accept or reject, and move on.
So there can be no further changes besides the amendments to amendments that we propose in our international teams. Is that correct?
Yes, you will not be able to do amendments to amendments to amendments. This is the beginning of madness.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is that clear, Hong Kong?
May I propose we can do the amendments to the amendments just by saying at the floor, because not by sending emails, but then it will be very problematic to get comments from the international teams, and then we need to send an email and put it on the floor.
You do not have to send emails, let's be clear.
But based on what you have said, following the submission rules to the amendments, that all the amendments need to be sent to the email in order to be a valid amendment.
If you look back on the guidelines, there's a specific provision for amendments to amendments that allow them to be taken in the floor. Irrelevant of whether you trust me or not, for the sake of simplicity and to prevent madness and taking 2 days to do this, we will follow the procedure I just announced. We will make sure to have amendments on the screens, and we will try our very best to write down the amendment as you propose it on the floor, so it's also visible on the screen and everybody's very aware what the latest change proposal is, and we will move according to that. Is that okay? Thank you, Ville. I am extremely happy to announce that everything, final declaration, triennial plan amendments, draft resolution amendments, will be on the online platform within 5 minutes. Je m'excuse auprès des Français et des francophones. La version française est en cours de traduction. Nous ne sommes pas encore en mesure de proposer la version française des amendements au plan triennal, mais normalement la déclaration finale et tous les autres amendements ont déjà été traduits. I just said that we don't have the French version for everything yet, and I apologize to the French speaking for that. They have the French version of draft resolutions proposals, so they can already act on that. Yes, France.
Est-ce qu'il y a besoin d'aide pour la traduction?
As far as I know, there is no need for help from the interpreter. No need for me. The interpreter got discovered. Thank you very much, France.
Okay.
Now, please, any more questions? Because we already lost 15 minutes out of the hour you have to do this. Well, actually, no, there's a coffee break, so you have an hour and a half before we get back in plenary for the voting session. Please, please be on time. Things can escalate very quickly, and we can end up spending many, many hours stuck here with the voting. Be punctual, and if there's anything, come to us, and we will try to accommodate the agenda to fit your needs. Thank you very much. Any questions, come to any of the purple shirts. We are here for you. Thank you very much. Godspeed.
The international team building is an activity that is planned for teams to meet each other, to know a little bit of their background, where they come from, their names. And this activity will also help in bring them together through the whole forum. So these are really important activities where they get to know each other. After the forum, these participants create these bonds. They can talk to each other even after the forum. So not only to have like friendships around the world, but also to discuss topics. What do they think about topics that are happening around the world, or what really politics, or something that happens in their energy. So they can have this point of view or another point of view from different countries towards this situation.
One session we learned how to greet people on their own language. So at least we could still continue communicating using our skills in this or that language.
Learn about each other and make it work.
I think this forum brings the opportunity to expand your comfort zone, to realize that there are other cultures, other points of view, other people around the world that are also looking for working towards what you are doing even yourself. So you get to encounter these situations, and then forward you know that not only you working towards something, but more people doing something like you're doing.
Yes, I didn't know people from Malaysia is hungry as me. You know, like everyone from our team. The name of our team, Hungry Scouts.
Today we are going to elect the 6 youth advisors to the World Scout Committee. They are the young people that they are representing all the youths in the movement in the World Scout Committee, the board of the USM. We do have 16 candidates, and these 16 candidates coming from all the regions, the 6 regions of USM, to elect the youth advisors in the World Scout Committee because they are the youth voice. They are the people who are bringing all the young generation to this organization and to give the importance of having a youth voice in the board of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. This is the first time in the Youth Forum we are using the e-voting system, which is basically by devices We are electing the young people immediately, and this process is bringing us to the 21st century without having all this paper ballot and with a sustainability issue as well.
I'm hoping to get in touch with a lot of different people and get different perspectives on things, so we can everyone gets a bit more input to find opinions and make decisions.
The word that I always use in this case is exotic, because I come from a context totally different, and listen new languages, be with different persons, it's always amazing.
This is my first time to the World Scout Forum, and also for my country. Because Myanmar is just starting back in the scouting movement just about 6 years ago. So this is the first time for my country also. So I'm really proud of it.
The international team building is an activity that is planned for teams to meet each other, to know a little bit of their background, where they come from, their names, and this activity will also help to bring them together through the whole forum. So this is a really important activity because this is where they get to know each other. The main goal is that after the forum, these participants create these bonds, so they can talk to each other even after the forum is over. Not only to have friendships around the world, but also to discuss topics. What do they think about topics that are happening around the world towards youth involvement, or something that's happening in their NSO. So they can have this point of view, or other points of view from different countries towards these situations.
One of the stations we learned how to greet people on their own language, so at least we could still continue communicating using our skills in this or that language.
Learn about each other and make this work.
I think this forum brings the opportunity to expand your comfort zone and to realize that there are other cultures, other points of view, other people around the world that are also looking for working towards what you are doing even in your country. So you get to encounter these situations, and then forward you know that it's not only you working towards something, but more people doing something like you're doing.
Yes, I didn't know people from Malaysia are as hungry as me. You know, like everyone from our team. As you can see, the name of our team, Hungry Scouts.
Today we are going to elect the 6 youth advisors to the World Scout Committee. They are the young people that they are representing all the youth in the movement in the World Scout Committee, the board of the USM. We do have 16 candidates, and these 16 candidates coming from all the regions, the 6 regions of USM, to elect the youth advisors in the World Scout Committee, because they are the youth voice. They are the people who are bringing all the young generation to this organization, and to give the importance of having a youth voice in the board of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. This is the first time in the Youth Forum we are using the e-voting system, which is basically by devices we are electing the young people immediately. And this process is bringing us to the 21st century without having all this paper ballot and with a sustainability issue as well.
Please press the button.
with a lot of different people and get different perspectives on things, so we can like everyone gets a bit more like input, find opinions and make decisions.
The word that I always use in this case is exotic, because I mean I come from a context totally different, and listen new languages, being with different persons, it's always amazing.
And this is my first time to the World Scout Forum, and also for my country, because Myanmar is just stepping back in the scouting movement just about 6 years ago. This is the first time for my country also, so I'm really proud.
see dollars, I wanna see pounds. Full circle, like a merry-go-round.
You better go back to your seats. We will start soon. Back to your seats as delegations. We'll start soon.
Everyone, please, we have to start the voting session, so I would like to ask you to get back to your seats. The time is now. I am sorry, but we need to start. Please get back to your seats and be quiet, so we can start as soon as possible. Thank you. Brothers and sisters in Scouting, take your seats. It is not the time to discuss potential amendments to amendments anymore. I am very sorry, but we have to move forward. Democracy cannot wait. All right. The voting session for the proposed amendments and the final declaration of the 13th World Scout Youth Forum is about to start. Please take your seats. Be silent. We will start with testing all the computers. You can already open up your screens. Make sure that your laptop is turned on. We will start the session with making sure our e-voting system is still active and working. Be ready. Thank you very much. I will now give the mic to my delightful colleague, Moira, to test the e-voting. Please be on standby. Thank you.
Good morning. Is everyone ready to do some e-voting? Is everybody ready to do some e-voting? Who said no? Oh, that's sad. Okay. So, we're going to go through the steps again. Shh, please. I'll just wait. Okay, thank you. So, you saw a huge improvement in how the e-voting worked between the test on Sunday night and the youth advisor election. Okay, we're doing our best to learn as we go so we can improve the system and make things more efficient. This will only work if everyone listens and stays with us as we go through the steps. Okay? The first thing we need to do, turn on the computer. Can you please put your hand up if you are having difficulty turning on your computer? Okay, I see two. Can I call on the tellers, please, to come into action? Wonderful. Thank you, super tellers. Okay, if you have your computer turned on, can you please make sure you are connected to the voting network? If you forgot your password, please approach the stage and we can reset your password for you.
I'm not good at computers, so I will.
Thank you everyone for your patience. We are still working with this. We shall, I'm hopeful, be ready very soon. If you still have some questions you're wondering about, this is your chance while we figure out the votings for those that still have issues to come to me or the chairing team here and ask them. Let's make the best use of this breakout time. Sorry, while we're still waiting on this, can I get someone from either Team 12 or Team 15 to come and give me an update on the amendment proposals and seconders situation, please? Thank you.
All right, let's do a quick test. Please raise your hand if you have not been able to connect to the voting connection. Okay, I see 2, 3. Please raise your hand if you have not yet been able to log in.
this works, but the same one here is not plugged in, so I should find a place where it should be plugged. So it should be like this. No, where it comes. And it's not working. Там есть какая-нибудь вилка, которая не подключена? Просто двое в начале подключено. Не, в смысле, там все работает вроде. Или плохо подключено. Можете проверить, пожалуйста? Она далеко просто.
Okay. I don't want to jinx anything, but I have a sneaking suspicion we're almost ready to go. So if you are logged in to e-voting, you will either see just no results to show if your password was reset, or if you didn't have to reset your password, you should see the results from the elections we did on Tuesday. Is there anyone currently who cannot log into their e-voting system? Okay, I see 2 that we're working on, and then after that we should be good to go. Thank you for your patience, we're almost there. Once we're logged in, we won't have to do this anymore. Okay, so I'm just waiting for confirmation from the tellers that all of the issues have been resolved. Okay, can I please have a quick indication? Can you please raise your hand if you are not logged into the system and ready to vote? I see none. Can I please have an indication from the tellers that they are satisfied that there are no more problems that need to be addressed? Excellent. This is wonderful news. We're ready to go.
Can I get someone from the host committee to come real quick for a point of information? Anybody of the, yes, can you please come, thanks.
I hate to interrupt the beautiful whistling, but we're ready to go. Okay, so just to remind everyone, thank you. This is not the Hunger Games. We do not need that here. Okay? Just to remind everyone, the votes we're going to be doing today are in favor or against. Okay? So we're going to go through the options of how to do it here to remind everyone, because a lot of things have happened since Sunday. Then we will do one test to check everyone is okay and everyone's system is happy, and then we'll proceed and move on to the voting session. Okay? So every time we start a vote, this is what will pop into your screen. There's going to be the code. Number of the amendment to that proposal. Okay, while the vote is on your screen, we will have the text you were voting on displayed on both sides on the projectors. So it'll be incredibly clear to you exactly what it is you're voting on each time. When you're voting, you have the option to vote in favor, which means you will be voting for the proposal, against, which means you were disagreeing with the proposal, or abstaining, which means you were recording that you voted but you did not pick a side. Okay? Each of those votes counts as 2. So should there be a situation where a delegation would like to split their vote, wait, no, success. Should you be in a situation where you feel the need to split your vote, you click the split vote and this is the option that appears. So as you can see, it's a maximum of 2 because 2 is the maximum votes that's being attributed here anyway. But you may go through it as you wish. Is that clear to everyone? Does anyone have any questions at this point? I see none. Okay. So as was the case with the youth advisor election, you must distribute all of the votes to you, that you have allocated to you. So either you press one of the 3 buttons, or if you split your vote, you must allocate both votes before you can press submit or confirm. Once that's done, you will be brought straight to the hooray. you'll be brought straight to the screen. So as soon as the voting ends, we will see exactly whether it has been carried or passed and the percentage of votes. Okay, so now we're going to do a practice. Is everyone ready for a practice? Is everybody ready for a practice? Thank you, okay. Are you ready, Mihailo? Go. Okay, so as you can see, no one from the top stage needs to be following the election for the results to be announced. Did anyone have any issues with the system? Okay. It doesn't?
Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. So it appears that even though our admin system is catching everyone's votes and telling us exactly the sum of all of the results and if it was carried or passed, the system is only showing you your own vote, which is the issue. No, it's showing you the overall result, so it was carried. So everyone should be seeing a positive 2 votes, but they're only being showed the total of their own votes, which is why you wouldn't be seeing what you voted for if you disagreed. Yeah? So we're trying to fix the glitch, and we'll run one more set or one more question.
Actually, we don't.
Okay, right, so putting it to the floor, the system is counting the votes and the system is telling us if it's carried or passed. Are you happy to proceed with the e-voting and just not be able to see the results immediately on your screen and we have to announce it? Yes, I see Norway.
I have another suggestion just to make sure that this is correct. So we do another test vote and we instruct everybody to vote against. And then you should be able to see that all the votes are against. If you do so, I'm okay with it.
Okay, that's a very good idea, thank you. So we're going to ask or pose a question or put a proposal for vote, a very serious proposal. And I would ask everyone, I would urge everyone very strongly to disagree with the proposal. No. This is the test just to see if we're going to register everyone's votes, even if it's not showing us, if it's not showing you guys on the system. Okay, so we're going to vote. Everyone please vote against. Okay, are you good to go? Please vote against. Please, whatever your personal views, please vote against. To clarify, everyone saw that no, like the motion was defeated. Did anyone see the proposal was approved? Please raise your hand if your screen does not say defeated. I see none. That means the system is working, it's registering the votes, it's just not displaying the numbers accurately for you guys.
We have seen here the other.
Is everyone willing to proceed with e-voting? Yes. Oh, Jeremy will announce the results. Is that okay? After every vote, Jeremy, who is chairing the session, will announce the results. Yes?
Victor, do you hear me?
Yeah. We would like to see them on the screen. Just
the problem is you see this. We can have
to insert them.
We're looking into it. Give us a second to come with an answer, please.
Okay, to try something else, can I log you all out and ask you to log in again? Right. Thank you. Yes, you can log in now. Okay, let's check if everyone is logged in. Can those who have not logged in raise the hand? Okay, we have 2. Tellers, please help if needed. Okay. I guess we are all logged in. Anyone not logged in yet? Okay. We can go with one more test vote, okay? And it's on your screen. Yes, yes, please vote. Freely, yeah, just to see.
What's the question?
It's second time.
All right. Your attention, please. As you are all aware, time is running out. Change is something that can be great, and sometimes we have to acknowledge that there can be mishaps, small failures. We are not managing to use the voting system at this time. We have to start going with the votes. That means that we will go back to the good old ways.
Can you ask the tellers to come first?
I would need the tellers to come to us, please. I would need everyone to prepare their voting cards. We will not be using the e-voting system at this time. I apologize. We tried. We shall overcome at another time. Please prepare your cards and such, and we will announce the rules in a minute. Thank you very much for your understanding. All right. In a minute, we are going to re-explain clearly how the good old vote system works. We'll put up a presentation and we'll do it very quickly, so please pay attention. We'll make sure to tell you how the split votes with the cards, how the voting works, and we're also giving our tellers new instructions to adapt to the new contexts. We are extremely grateful for your patience and the professionalism you are all showing here to help us make this experience a success in the end. We are almost there. Please just bear with us for another few minutes. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, we will remind you now with the rules of the voting. So, as you remember, each delegation shall cast 2 votes, irrespective of the number of delegates representing the National Scout Organization. Decisions made will be made by vote must be approved by a simple majority, 50% plus 1 of votes cast. Abstentions are not considered. Voting may be by voting cards if there is no visibility, clear majority. That's the chairperson will take the decision on this, and will have it maybe by roll call. That means each country will come and put the vote. There is a voting split in the forum, so you can, whenever you want to use your split vote, you can use it. Voting at any meeting of the World Scout Youth Forum shall be by delegates of the member organizations. The chairman will ask during voting first who is in favor, who's against, who's abstaining, so the tellers can count. So normally when we find that the majority in the room is for and then few is against, that there is no need for the tellers. We will go directly and say it is carried. Whenever we vote, please keep the card that you are voting with up until we finish saying, okay, down, and then we go for the next motion. So this is what you have already. We'll give time for questions after. This is what you have now. If you have the 2 cast votes in favor or against, raise the full purple solid one. Can you raise it now? Yes, this one. Thank you. Down. Somebody. And now if you, and the second one, the split one, is the stripped one. Can you all raise the stripped one? Yes, this is the split vote. Okay, thank you. So that's mean if one vote is first for, you can split, and if you have the other one against, you can raise the split one. Okay. If we need to go for the voting paper, you do have a voting paper that has only 2 votes. Can you show it to me? Yes, this one. Exactly. You have many of them. So as many as we can use it, but we will use it in the very tight position. Okay? There is no e-voting anymore. Yeah. So what we will do, we will start first with the amendments of the amendments. If the amendments is carried, so we will amend, and then we will go to vote on the amended amendments, and that will be straightforward on the screen, English and French. You will see both the English and French on the screen. Yeah, it might take some time to have the French already on the screen, so bear with us. If the amendment of the amendment is not carried, we will go for the original text that the drafting committee proposed. Is that clear? Great. Just a reminder with these deadlines in the conference, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hani. Okay, we have another question, yes? What's going on? Yeah, please ask your question.
Microphone.
Can you give him a microphone? Thank you.
So when we say the abstentions are not considered, so we will talk about the against and in favor count. That's it. And so, for instance, we have about 40 abstentions. So we're talking about only between the 80, the rest of the 80, right?
Okay, so if we have 44 and 40 against and 60 abstains, that means there is equal, right? If there is 44 and 60 against and 80 abstaining, that's mean it is defeated. That's everybody's against. You get what I mean? Okay.
Any more questions about this? Is this absolutely clear? If you're not going to split your votes, only use the fully purple card. If you're going to split your vote, use the other one. Be mindful of that. All right? Everything clear on that side? Super. So, how will we proceed? We will start by discussing the amendments to the draft resolutions proposed by the World Sky Committee. Conference document 4A. How things will work. For each amendment, the international team proposing, or I am willing to accept that the seconder gets the right to present if it makes more sense in the context of things, will get one person from that team will get 1 minute maximum, emphasis on the maximum, to speak in favor of the amendment. You do not have to necessarily speak in favor of your amendment if you think it is very straightforward and you have nothing special to say. Be mindful of the time. We are already rather very late, so the less time we spend on repeating the text of the amendments, the better. Only speak if you have additional context to provide in favor, please. Of course, everybody that might be against also needs a voice. So for any proposal, there will be 1 minute for one person to speak in favor and 1 minute for someone to speak against. Anybody can speak against. To ask for the right to speak against, raise your country card, and I will arbitrarily, first come, first serve, most probably, decides who gets to speak. In case something seems to require more discussions, we will consider giving more people a chance to speak in favor or against the proposals. But otherwise, the rule is that one person gets to speak maximum 1 minute in favor, and if anybody wants to speak against, they will get 1 minute as well. Then we proceed to the vote. Is that clear? Every time you want to ask for the right to speak, raise your country card. As a reminder, observers or delegates both have the right to speak. It doesn't matter in this context. Just make sure that they're close to a card so that I can call them and give them a chance to vote. When it's about to vote in favor, please, only the international team presenting it, please only you raise hands. Like if you're not one of the two or whatever, however many international teams are proposing or seconding things, do not try to speak in favor if it's not your proposal. Otherwise it's going to get messy and I'm not necessarily going to know who's in which team. And I always give priority to the presenting international team to speak in favor of their amendment. Is that clear for everyone? Can I get a yes that sounds like everybody means it? Yes. All right. Thank you so much. All right, just for the sake of our tellers, we'll just do one fake vote right now. So the question here, nobody's going to get to speak in favor or against that. Just please vote, whatever. Just this is a test. The mock question is, do you think we need to have 2 youth forums instead of 1 in the next triennium? Those in favor, raise your cards. Should we have 2 youth forums instead of 1 in the next triennium? This is a fake question, and I mean nothing by it. Keep your hands high until I tell you to drop them. Tellers are counting to make sure that we get an appropriate answer and that the system for counting works. Can I get a sign from the tellers when we're ready to drop? This is the first time, so it's going to take a little longer. We're not going to make you raise your hands so high every time, I promise. I appreciate how many people are splitting their votes, testing the split votes at the same time. You guys rock. The others as well, of course. Is the counting done, guys? Tell us, I don't need, guys, I don't need to have the numbers, I just need to know you're done with the counting so people can, okay, you can lower your hands. All against. You can vote in favor and against, thanks. All against, raise your cards, tellers. See the system, yeah? Hello? All right, you can drop your cards. You can stop raising your hands. You can stop raising your hands. Thank you. Abstentions? Oh, thank you. 2 abstentions. Thank you. You can lower your cards. Can I get a thumbs up or wink from the tellers to know that all right, just as a clarification, if it is extremely obvious that a majority is voting in favor or against, we are not going to count exactly the number of votes. We are not keeping a very detailed log. The only time tellers will be counting everything just like they did is in case we feel there might be a tie. If it seems like half of you just raise their cards for, we'll count, and then we'll ask who's voting against, we'll count, and we'll make sure that we know the clear winner. For the sake of efficiency, if there's a very clear majority, we won't count, it will go a lot faster. I had a question from Italy. So the question is whether we're going to count for abstentions or not. As we said, abstentions do not have an impact on the result of the voting, because when you abstain, you let others decide for you. So we'll ask people to, we'll ask you if you want to abstain, you'll get to express that. It doesn't factor into the final result, so we won't write the exact number. Is that all right? Clear for everyone?
How do we know how many votes we have in the room if we don't count abstentions?
So they exist. Yeah. No.
So to be clear, if someone is not paying attention and is not voting on an amendment, it's their fault. We're not going to redo the votes if not everybody voted. So it doesn't matter to us if not everybody voted, as long as we have a clear winner of the people that voted. We will not there is not a need for every vote to be cast at every point. If you're not paying attention and you don't vote, this is your right and your responsibility, but that means that others will decide for you. Is that clear? So in case there's a lot of abstentions, we'll count it because it can factor maybe in some ways, but in most cases it won't matter much. Yes, Poland?
Yes, I'm not sure if one of our delegate is against and another one confirmed this decision. Should we show this twice? Yes?
Exactly, that's the point of the split votes. When you use that card, we expect you to raise it twice, because you'll have to vote twice. You can be abstaining and being in favor, or you can be in favor and against, you can any of the combinations. But if you use your split vote cards, so the purple and white striped cards, you'll have to vote twice, choose 2 out of the 3 options. You know, because your delegation decides that you cannot come up with a consensus, so you're going to have 2 votes as a delegation. And then you have to express those 2 votes. So you have to, for example, if you decide that one wants to vote in favor and one wants to vote against, you'll have to raise the split vote card, the purple and white striped cards, twice to express the votes of the 2 sides of the delegation. Is that clear as well? Seems like it. All right, are we ready to give this a real try? Okay, half of the room is at least. All right, it's been asked and we provided the information. There is 116 delegation, which means that at maximum there is 116 delegations that would vote. That doesn't mean there is only maximum 116 votes, because if you split it, you can have 2 votes per delegation. So the maximum will be 232 votes if everybody splits their votes. Now, once again, we don't need everybody to vote. People that don't vote, let others decide for them, and the show goes on. We will close the doors during plenaries, and when the voting is ongoing, delegates are asked to stay in the room during the full voting session. Make sure you pee or do anything you have to do in the breaks. Observers are a little more free to move in and out, but please try not to do so much as it disturbs the peace and quiet that we are all expecting in this room during the voting procedure. Thank you. We will now start voting on the first amendment proposals to the draft resolutions by the World Scout Committee. The first resolution we will be discussing is the conference document 4A 2007G, inclusive decision making, developing the World Scout Conference and the World Scout Youth Forum, or what we call the concept review. The first amendment that has been proposed is the Conference Doc 4A 2017G Amendment 1. It has been proposed by Team 15, and there has been a change in the seconders. Team 13, in the end, is seconding this amendment. You can all see the text of the amendment on the screen, and for the French speakers, I ask you to look at the translated document that is available on the online platform. Do we have someone willing to speak in favor of this amendment from Team 15? Seeing none, do we have anybody that wants to speak against the amendment? Seeing none, we shall now proceed with the vote. Please pay attention. I want everyone in favor. Sorry, just to clarify. Okay, never mind. Never mind, I have a different version. In my version, I see the changes made by the drafting committee, but you see the final text. So this, on the screens here, is the final text of the amendments. Do we have any proposal to amend the amendment from the floor? You want it higher? The light. Can we take care of the blue lights on the screens? They are making it hard to read. Our people are on it. In the meantime, just to be clear, yes, United Kingdom, right? If it's a question, guys, it's a point of order. If you want to speak, do you want to speak in favor or against, or is that a question?
No, it's an amendment to the amendment.
Okay.
So the wording of the amendment to
Can you please stand when you're going to speak? So
yes, of
people
course,
can
sorry.
identify you. Thank you.
Do you want some background on the amendment or just the wording of what we want to propose?
The wording first, and then we'll give you a chance to speak in favor or against.
Okay.
Please
so the wording
speak slowly so our people can write it and it can be added on the screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Apologies. Calls upon the World Scout Committee to explore the future composition of NSO delegations, particularly as to how youth participation can be increased, and in brackets, under 30s. Am I not loud enough? Okay.
Yeah, just make sure to speak close to the mic. Almost kiss the mic so we can hear you properly. Thank you.
Okay, I'll kiss the mic.
Start again, thanks.
Calls upon the World Scout Committee to explore the future composition of NSO delegations, particularly as to how youth participation can be increased, and then in brackets, under 30s. Close brackets.
Can we change the highlighting color? Apparently it makes it hard to read from afar. Can we change the background, the red background, to maybe a light yellow or a light blue? And can the UK confirm that the wording... Awesome, thank you. That is teamwork and empowerment. I like when you're active citizens like this. Keep it up. We're all in this together. Can the UK confirm that the wording on the screen is the wording you just proposed?
That's correct, yes.
All right. So is it clear to everyone the first... Yeah, can you maybe highlight the amendment to amendments in a different color or different bullet points or a space or something so we know it clearly? Thank you. That is perfect. Yes, Ireland? He's not angry, he's just trying to make sure you're being heard.
The wording is just wrong after particularly as how to youth participation can be increased. It was read out differently from the UK, but it was just written differently, that was all.
Can the UK confirm that this is an accurate statement? Can I get any indication from the UK that the wording is right or wrong?
Yeah. Particularly as to how. So how and to are currently the wrong way around. That's now correct.
Thank you. I would like to thank Scouting Ireland for their diligence. New Zealand, what is this about? We are not starting Q&A questions about this, so make it quick.
I'm not wearing my glasses. Can we make the words bigger?
Can we try and make the words bigger so that people in the back or people that do not have their glasses can read
Visually
properly?
impaired? Come on.
We're slowly catching up to speed. It's going to be a walk in the park from there, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. All right. Does the UK, which international team is proposing this amendment to the amendment, and who is seconding it?
Team 19 are proposing the amendment to the amendment, and it is being seconded by team. 1 second. 17. Seconded by team 17.
I see no opposition, so I will gladly take your word for it. All right, so as discussed, we will now vote on the proposed amendments to the amendments. So what you see here in light blue. Do we have team 19, someone willing to speak in favor, or you feel that this is pretty straightforward? Straightforward. Anybody against? Willing to speak? Sorry. Anybody willing to speak against the amendment? Yes, Jordan. You have 1 minute.
Yeah.
Please stand up when you speak.
Thank you. The point is, can we just add, taking into consideration the NSO situation and maybe the composition, because sometimes they may have not that much of delegation under theory. That's what I'm talking about.
I am a little confused by what you try to say. Are you suggesting we make a modification, or are you... All right, sorry, just to be clear, this is the final wording. We are not making amendments to amendments to amendments. Take this text as it is. I'm sorry, but we have to do this. So, this is the text. I will now proceed with the vote. Is everybody ready to vote? Amazing. I would like to ask everyone who wants to vote in favor of the amendments to the amendments, what you can see here in light blue, to raise their cards high. Please raise it high. Thank you. You can. There's a clear majority, so we don't need an exact count. You can take it down. Tellers, you don't need the exact numbers. Yes. Please take it down. It's okay. Yes. As I said, there's a clear majority, so we don't need tellers to make sure we know the exact number at this point. All those against, please raise your cards. High. High. All right. Thank you. Abstentions? Please take it down, take it down. Abstentions? Thank you very much. I am happy to announce that the amendment is passed. The amendment to the amendment is passed. So this means that we will not vote on the original amendments. And we now move on to the next proposed amendments. Okay? Clear? Wonderful. So, the next proposed amendment is coming from Team 21, seconded by Team 18. And the wording can be seen in soon to be light yellow on your screens. Do we have any amendments to the amendments? Seeing none. Bigger words as well, if possible, please. Is that an amendment to the amendment? Mongol. Sorry, I cannot read it.
Yeah, we're from Malaysia. We would like to suggest a reword to this amendment. Strongly recommends that young volunteer representatives of all WUSM regions are fully involved in the planning process of the new events model that is bound to replace the World Scout Youth Forum and the World Scout Conference.
All right, sorry, just to make this a little clearer, before you suggest the new amendments, tell us what you're deleting. So as I understand here, you're replacing the beginning of the amendments.
Oh yeah, we are replacing the phrases, the first few phrases of the sentences. Yeah, we're replacing the first few phrases.
Can someone give a microphone to Moira, please? No. Okay, never mind. She has a microphone. Moira, you want to ask something?
Just to clarify, you've already received a proposed amendment to this amendment and it's displayed on screen. It's the second one here. So the original amendment was proposed by Team 21 and seconded by Team 18. And then the amendment that we received today during the discussions was proposed by 21 and seconded by Team 11.
Sorry, okay. Just to make things clear, if you have already given us a paper in advance, this was only for our convenience in preparing the text. You still have to raise your tag in the plenary and announce that you want to propose an amendment to an amendment, meaning that there are amendments already submitted to the amendment that you can see here, and any potential amendments that we already received in paper are not considered submitted yet. You still need to raise your hands when we come to the amendments and propose it. Is that clear to everybody that already gave us the papers? Point for clarification from... All right, sorry. Am I confused in thinking that there are two competing amendments to the amendments? Or Malaysia, is this the wording that you suggested?
No, this is not the wording we suggested. We're not sure which teams, which delegations submitted this.
Yes, so which international team are you representing?
I'm representing Team 7.
Team 7, and who is... So, as I thought, there are two competing amendments to the amendment. Yes, question from Mexico? Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm confused if we have already voted on Amendment 1, or if we voted the amendment of the amendment, and then we vote on the amendment. Is that clear?
Yes, there is a... All right. Once again, it is beautiful to see that we are one big team working to make this work as clearly as possible. For the future, if there are competing amendments to the same points, the first one we will vote for, if we adopt it, will cancel out all other potential amendments suggested on the same points. So if, I'll be here in a second. So there is sadly no way to prioritize one over the other. We can, should international teams manage to quickly agree through some kind of a nodding process of a sort, potentially try to merge, but otherwise the First Amendment to one specific points, if it gets carried, cancels out everything afterwards. In the context of this, I am willing to call on a revote of the previous one, if knowing that what you just approved before cancels the proposal now, would make you change your votes. Yes, I see you. Just a minute. Thank you, Norway. What can I do for you guys?
Okay. Okay, I think we are discussing several things at once here. So I will try to be as structured as I can. The first question is regarding Amendment 1. So there was an amendment to the amendment which was carried. That was, in my opinion, that was the first vote. Then we should have a second vote whether this, the text in light blue, should be added to the text as a whole. We haven't had... Yeah. Okay. We should have that vote. Then we should move to Amendment 2 and do it the same, do it the same way there, and so move on to the document, downwards, amendment by amendment. I hope that was clear.
1 minute. Sorry about that.
Upload.
All right, it seems everybody's getting confused, so let's try to bring a little Finland with a solution or something. Can someone give a microphone to Team Finland? Thank you.
Okay, hi, is this on? Yes, good. So I would suggest that we would have the lunch now, as in schedule. You could figure out what we're doing, so that everybody knows what we are doing. And then when we know what we are doing, we'll come back after lunch and start the vote again. Thank you.
My stomach tends to agree with the very fine proposal of Team Finland, as I think the majority of you does. So I think them. Should we vote? Yeah, all in favor to Team Finland's proposal. I love a consensus. All right. So please, once again, there is lunch break. Remember that afterwards we will be moving at full speed, draft resolutions, triennial plans, final declaration. Use the lunch to go through all those amendments. Try to ensure that you coordinate if there are amendments to amendments, so we don't compete and get confused even more. Lunch is as long as usual. It's 1.5 hours. Be back here at 2:15, sorry. We will tell you that later. It's still too early to tell. Be back in plenary at 2:15. Thank you, everyone.